It's Sunday afternoon and we're getting ready for another week of day trading. I'm gonna take a look at the charts, the Qs, the SPY, get a better idea of what is going on trend-wise and what we should expect this upcoming week in the stock market. Diving into it right here in this video, so let's go. What's going on, guys? Patrick here, live from Hawaii. Getting ready for another week in the markets. Gonna take a look at the charts and kind of dive into what we're looking at, the Qs and the SPY. So let's jump into the charts. The first chart that we're pulling up here is the QQQ, the NASDAQ. You can see on Friday had a push up and open, a pullback, and then closed at the highs there at the 316 area, 315.45 there for the close on Friday. So overall, pretty bullish Friday there, up 1.8% on the day. This overall trend has been playing out since, I think, the FOMC meeting, since everything came out this last week with all the numbers, the data, and interest rates and everything being basically figured out at that point. So now the question is, where do we go from here? From that 315 area, if we go to the daily chart. Hey, if you guys enjoy these videos, do me one big favor, hit that like button, subscribe button. Also, if you want to learn about the broker that I use for buying and selling stocks, options, and all that fun stuff, there's a link down below. A lot of good offers and deals going on right now, so definitely check out the link down below. Let's get back into the video. So the first thing to look at here on the Qs is to see that we pushed above this area of resistance right there. We pushed above that. That was the 312, 311 area. We pushed above that on Friday. Now, the thing to think about now is, what do we have coming up next, though? We have this overall downtrend. This is going to be very important to keep an eye on, this overall downtrend line. I would say that 320 area will be a very key level for the Qs here on Monday, this upcoming week. And what's interesting here, looking at the chart, we had this area of consolidation there at the 310 level. We broke through that to the upside here from previous resistance there. But if we go back and we look at this kind of previous move on the Qs back there in February, we had a very similar move. We had this area of consolidation. We pulled back below it. We then pushed above it. We broke above it, and then we sold off and went lower. So that's almost like a very similar pattern that we've had here that's kind of playing out right now by looking at the chart back there in February. Very similar pattern. That area of resistance, that consolidation level, the pullback below it, the push back above it. We break above that area, and then we turned down once again once we hit that overall downward trend there. And I would say that that setup is looking very similar to this move here in June now. So in June, pushing above that resistance, we had that. So there's a couple different ways to look at this at the end of the day. If we get stuck at that resistance, at that overall downtrend here, I would say there's a very good chance that we then turn down and we want to kind of make a next leg lower, being 260, 250, 240 area on the Qs. You know, if you really zoom out here, we talked about this already, that 260 level kind of being a good area to target for downside potential there on the Qs. I mean, do we know for sure what's going to happen here? Obviously not. We kind of dipped down to that 270 area there. So this could, you know, kind of start to move back up now. But again, I don't think we're going to just blow right through 320. I don't think we're going to go right through 320 and then just go right to the moon. You know, that's $1 million question. Obviously, no one knows for sure. But something to definitely keep in mind, that 320 area could play out as major resistance here for the Qs this week. So definitely right now, we're still in this overall downtrend. We're just pushing up to that level there. You know, we could kind of go up, get denied, and then make a higher low, and then get the breakout. That would be bullish, you know, to get that higher low there. The problem is if we push up there and then we start getting denied and just start to sell, well, then that would obviously be very bearish to sell through there and get stuck at that resistance. So, and what's interesting is if we look here, back in 2020, August was an overall bullish month there on this move here in August, going up in August in 2020. And then if we look here in August of 2021, we also had a bullish move to the upside. But then going into September, we have a pullback. Same thing for 2020, August, going into September. We had a pullback there in September. So that would kind of play out really beautifully here. If this starts to push up, we get that pullback into September there and then make that higher low, getting that breakout from that 320 level. Something to think about. The last few years here, August being bullish and September being that bearish month that we go. So the next important market to look at here obviously is the S&P 500. This is the SPY that we're looking at right now. The SPY on Friday gapping up, squeezing up there to the 411s, pulling back to the 408s, and then closing at 413 there on Friday at the highs. So overall, again, the SPY bullish here on Friday, making that big move up there to the 413s, almost 1.4% on the day there on Friday on the SPY. If we go and we look at the daily chart on the SPY, you can see the SPY broke out of that downward trend that we're in. That downward trend line was holding down for quite some time back there in March of 2022, all the way down here to July. And we talked about this move last Sunday, which is interesting because we had trouble there on Monday. We had a little bit of trouble on Tuesday. We bounced off of that support, that previous area of resistance. These lines I drew last Sunday, which is kind of funny now because looking at it, it's like, wow, okay, well, cool. That 390 level there on the SPY holding as support. We did not get down to these levels. We broke through that trend up there to the 411. So the next big resistance for the SPY is going to be here at that 420 level. So 420 would be the next resistance, kind of similar to the idea with the NASDAQ, with the Qs at that 320 level. We'll see what happens here with the SPY at the 420 level. If we push up to that 420, we then pull back at a higher low and then make the next move up. From there, this is the S&P 500, and getting that push up from there, you know, going into August being 450, that next resistance really on that being that 460 level. So if we can push above that 420s, it looks very doable for the SPY to continue to push up there to that 460 level. And then after that, it's like, is that a triple top? And then pretty much at that point, I mean, we're back at all-time highs. So very interesting. The SPY definitely looking like it's getting a little ahead of itself right now. We might need a little bit of a pullback here, but that's where I think that could possibly play out on this move. If we push up to the 420s, we get some pullback, consolidate, and then we start to push higher from there. So the SPY breaking out of that downward trend, and I think as long as the SPY stays bullish, the SPY continues to push higher, the NASDAQ will follow. So overall, seeing what happens here at this 415 to 420 level on the SPY will be very interesting. Not having, you know, any major news or data coming out this upcoming week. So the market should really kind of figure out at this point, like which way we're going to go now that we know more about the interest with inflation, the recession, and all that stuff. So definitely keeping an eye on that 420 level being a key level for the SPY here as well. And we'll see what happens. So 420 for the SPY, 320 for the NASDAQ. At the end of the day, nobody knows for sure which way this market's going to go, but there is the key levels to keep an eye on. Like I said, you know, we're watching those resistance areas. If we break above those resistance areas, well, then there's upside potential to come. The idea that we're going to basically cancel the bear market, return to bull market territory, and then push above all-time highs here in 2022. A lot of people have been very bearish because of inflation, because of interest rates, and all the stuff that's been going on in the world. But it's kind of interesting to see how the market is now trying to push back up through those areas of resistance. And what could really happen at this point is we get kind of a melt up where everybody starts to FOMO back in, the shorts get squeezed, everybody that was bearish is now turning bullish, having to switch their positions to the bullish side. People are starting to buy call options, the market starts to move higher, and the more and more the market starts to move, the more FOMO, well, there is a possibility of a massive move to the upside here based on just the simple idea of, you know, shorts getting trapped, the FOMO, people on the sidelines. A lot of people took their money out of the market this year thinking that we're going to crash because of recession and all these different reasons, but it'll be very interesting to see if we break above that resistance. Do we get to a point where people are starting to really FOMO back into it? Do the bears get caught here and we get this move up? Nobody knows for sure. Like I said, at the end of the day, we're just looking at these key levels to kind of have an idea. If we get to those levels, what should we expect? What do we have up next? Is there move to the upside, move to the downside? I think it's really important this week for the market to kind of put in a higher low at this point, put in a higher low, and then that kind of symbolizes, hey, look, this could be time for another bull market. So if you guys haven't already hit that subscribe button, you know what to do. I'll talk to you guys later on.